Hey everyone, it's Kim Beegler, owner of Ewethful Fiber Mill, and I'm here at the farm on shearing day, and all the sheep are in here. Before I forget, if you're new, I talk a lot about sheep, wool, owning a wool mill, yarn, hand spinning, knitting, all those things. Today is an extra day because we are shearing half of the sheep, and I'm going to flip around and let you see them. But if you're coming back, thanks. It's our favorite day, right? Our shearer Michael will be here in a couple hours. These guys came in last night so that they can't eat or drink water, which keeps them safer and also keeps them from eliminating as much everywhere. But the goal is they can have their stomach flip if they have a full stomach during shearing. So you bring them in, let their stomachs empty. There they are. We're not going to stay long because you can see they're pretty calm, but I'll flip around and take a peek. Some of the chickens inside. So here is the crew. So half of them we did shear in November. So about 10 of them are getting shorn today, I believe. And I actually went through and dewormed everybody this morning, which was exciting. They're in such a small space that I can maneuver around and was able to deworm everybody, which many of them were due for sure. And now we're just going to let them rest until Michael gets here, and we'll slowly let the ones out that don't need to be in there. I thought about doing it this morning, but it's like everybody's dry. That's the other reason they're in. It's raining, and you can't shear them when they are wet. So these guys are all in, they're all dry, and we're just going to keep it that way versus risking losing anybody running outside. So there we go. All right, moving onward. So everybody's done, and you can see these two are pushing into each other. And that is super normal after shearing. They kind of can't recognize each other. Like that big thing of scent that is them is now gone. And so it takes a little bit of reworking. Don't panic, they're all just fine. They work it out, but this kind of happens where they'll run around and try to figure out who is who for a little bit. And that's just how it is. So everybody, we did 10 today. I'm gonna go clean the barn. Usually we have the sheep outside until right before, not outside, but in a covered outdoor space. So it's a lot cleaner than being on the wood for a long period of time where they pottied. So it's a mess. So I'm gonna go clean that up and move some wool up top. And that's our old lady. Poor little sweet old lady. Clean up the mess. Okay, we are out in the shop here at home on the farm, and I am determined to get these fleeces skirted quickly. Partially because they were so dirty. Can you guys see all right? I think you can. They were so dirty when they were getting shorn, because usually we have them outside in a covered space, and it's much easier to, I'm gonna start skirting here, you all, and hopefully maybe I could pull back a little bit. I'll talk through some of what I'm pulling off, but this is, I believe this is my old mama. She is probably 9 or so, and I'm going to start skirting. And this is some of the first stuff I'm pulling off, is on the edges, basically down by her bootsa, the stuff that gets pretty soiled throughout growing. Actually, her fleece is looking better, and I'll show you some up close here of her fleece. She still puts out a beautiful fleece. Uh-oh. Let's see if we're gonna break on us, or if that was just, no, we're good. I think that was just a second cut. Okay, so, because I don't want to waste energy skirting this if I'm like, oh, it's got breaks in it. Let me try one more time, but I think that might have just been a second cut on the fleece. Yeah, we've got a nice ping to it, so we're good. But there are some second cuts. Shetlands can be really sticky as far as shearing, because a lot of them do rue or they will naturally start to shed, and they can get kind of sticky in the spring. So there's just going to be a bit more second cuts than you may get in some of the other breeds. So this is like shockingly clean compared to the other ones that I did this morning. So and you can see I just start to pull apart a bit looking for VM. She actually is really low VM. And then I will pull a chunk apart and just give it a good shake. Whether I do it over the skirting table or to the side, it just depends. Somehow I lost my plastic bag. And this doesn't need another go over, so I'm just gonna toss it in the bag and move on to the next section. I have a chicken in the background that is laying an egg. So if you see her, or if you hear her, that's what's happening. But they were really gunky, as I was saying when I started out, because we had them in a barn stall, which is a wood floor, and it was just a gunky mess by the time, because they went in, you know, at 7 or so the night before, and then they didn't get shorn until 4 the next day. So that's a lot of pee and poop building up in there. Here's some little bits of second cuts here that I'm pulling off, and I'm trying to stay in the camera so you can see as I work. This is a significantly cleaner fleece than my other two. So I'm gonna pull off, some of this is just really gunky and it has extra VM in it. So I'm pulling that off because I'm not gonna get those really fine bits of VM out. Obviously pulling out big chunks of VM as I go along. This is pretty gunky, like britch wool, so we're gonna get rid of that. So this girl has not been shorn in a year. The guys, everybody we shored yesterday had not been shorn for a year. I end up with a lot more waste wool, so they put out more fiber. The ones we shear, I should say, the ones we shear every 6 months. Here's another chunk that I'm tossing out, and it's just kind of like really gunky, and you can see how it's caught up, and there's some VM in there. So some of our sheep we shear every 6 to 8 months because they're younger and they're still pumping out a lot of wool, and it's more than, if it gets to like, 6 inches, I am like, we're done. We don't need any 8-inch fiber. It just doesn't process well. So I will shear them more. And so technically I can save more of that fleece. Like a lot of times on their fleeces, I can save the belly wool. But I'm also harvesting it when there's less wool on them. So it's just a trade-off. My older sheep are not they're not growing as much in length. So I let them grow a little bit longer. It's a wash. I toss a lot more of their fleece out. So like this is belly wool. You can kind of tell it's belly wool just by how incredibly dark it just gets a lot of wear, right? Because it's being dragged across the ground. So I do not try to salvage their belly wool because it's just pretty rough stuff. But that we can. So I'm gonna pull belly wool out, and it goes to the side. Let me open up a little more fleece here. And you can see I just do it in sections. Nothing has to be perfect. All right, here's a nice big chunk that we're gonna pull out here. This is definitely like waste. And she did kind of end up getting extra dirty, I think because she was older. She like laid down and then she would pick up more gunk. So part of why I am wanting to get these skirted faster is just they just ended up getting so dirty inside. And I said to Mitch, we're going to do that different. Usually we wouldn't, but Mitch was gone and I didn't want to run the risk of running them between spots and losing them. Either them getting wet, getting away from me, eating, all the things. So, but I was like, next time I think I'd rather just live with the potential that I lose a sheep here or there, which probably wouldn't happen. So this is all belly wool. I'm gonna let it go. It's just too gunky. You can see here, this is so obviously britch wool. See how different that is than say any other part of this. Very different wool, so we don't really, and it's pretty dirty. So we're gonna let it go. Remember, this girl is older, so she's not putting out as much wool, and the quality's not gonna be what it used to be. So I'm really just trying to salvage the best of it, and I'm giving it a good shake here. And I think we're all right. That's all just dirt. And I am definitely cold soaking these. I already have one cold soaking that I skirted out earlier because they are dirty and they've been through a lot of wet this year. So this last little bit, we got a little bit left of belly I'm gonna pull. And I don't throw out all like the not perfect, like if it's by the britch but it's clean and the wool is pretty good, I will keep it. It's just, you know, if it's really rough wool, like the handle is significantly different and or it's just filthy, then we'll get rid of it. So here we are at the end of what, and you can see how fairly quickly I got that done. Her fleece had significantly less VM in it than the other ones I did already this morning. So that does save quite a bit of time. So we'll give these a good shake. And occasionally here and there, I was not paying the best attention as we were shuffling sheep around, and I may have missed a nail or so as they were getting trimmed. So we're gonna make sure. So here is what we have of fur. It's not that much, maybe 2 pounds. Probably about the same as what I would get if I had shorn at 6 months. In a different way though. Okay, we're gonna do one more fleece because I'm curious to look at, this is the first time we have shorn the East Frisian crosses that we have, the BFL East Frisians. So I'm gonna pop this girl's fleece out. I would expect for, and we're gonna move this along, I have a little more room here. I would expect for this to not be as long as the Shetland. Oh, you guys. I'm pretty excited about this fleece. So these guys had their fleece probably for a full year. This is the first time we've shorn them. I'm not sure when they were shorn. They were pretty short when we got them in the summer. I may take you off the tripod so you can actually get a better glimpse at this fleece. And I may even be able to save her belly wool. We'll see. So I'm just going to open up. Holy cow. So she is more on the BFL end of life. And I'm going to go in for a close-up here so you can really see this. Really gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous wool. It looks in good shape. And let me put you back on and we'll get her skirted out. There we go. So I'm doing the same thing. There's probably, these guys did shear a lot cleaner than the Shetlands. They don't have that same stickiness. So she is heavier on the BFL. There's some East Frisian in our dark girl. Oh my gosh, freaking out. Y'all are watching me freak out over this fleece. Wow, really gorgeous. So like I said, she is heavier BFL than she is East Frisian. Her mom is East Frisian BFL, so there is some of that in her. So far, I'm not seeing a whole lot that I need to skirt. Let me show you a staple here. Significantly shorter than the Shetland. But it's probably nice and strong. It's maybe 3 inches, which is a beautiful place as a processor to work with. So I am just going to do the same thing, do this in chunks, pull off any second cuts. I'm going to tear it. And I know that because this is a little cleaner, I don't have to, I probably am not going to cold soak this. We'll see as I get in a little bit more. But so far, I'm not seeing any reason that I would need to. They just have shorter fiber. It holds the dirt differently. So I'm just kind of looking for second cuts. Some of this is not second cuts. It's just shorter. Like I said, there's not going to be as much second cut because their wool, it's so different than Shetland. So different. Feeling very grateful. Oh my goodness, you all. This is pretty epic. And a lot of this we're going to be able to save. I'm not going to have nearly as much waste just because they're a shorter breed and their wool just holds stuff. I mean, she barely even has an EVM. It's pretty spectacular. So I'm going to pull another bit. Obviously, if you want to keep it more intact, I mean, there's not even much dropping out of her. So this is a very happy shepherd. You're witnessing a very, very happy shepherd right now at how this fleece has turned out. Oof, my goodness. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Like I said, you can see that I am not like, I don't have the fleece laid out perfectly. I didn't care where the head was at. I'll figure it out, you know, especially because I have been doing this for a long time. It's pretty easy for me to know, okay, I'm now at the head, which I am not, just so you know. There is not much to do on this fleece other than enjoy the miraculousness of it. Not to say the Shetlands don't have beautiful fleeces, but this is very different than what I'm used to. So this is like the 6-month fleeces I would get off the Shetland as far as ease of skirting and handling. So I'm just going to finish this up. I don't know that I have time to do another fleece, but if I do, okay, here we get to a little bit more, some rough stuff. So we're down by, and I'll show you the difference here. And I would say this is belly here. Still nice and strong, not too dirty. The staple length is decent, so I'm going to keep it. All of this looks pretty good. So here we get down to something that obviously looks so different, right? You can see how different in, I'll pull you off the camera so you can really see how this looks up close. So this is kind of her britchy wool, a lot shorter than the Shetland, but you can see how different that is than, say, that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. It's actually not too bad. So I'll pull the dirtiest parts of it off and save the rest. But let me put you back on. And we'll keep finishing up here. This is a very heavy woolly wool episode, isn't it? And I'm going to show you after I finish here also, I'll let that little pile go. I will also show you the waste pile because it's pretty significant. Now, as you're getting the idea, a lot of that is from the Shetland. So, and I was really thrilled. What I've been really happy with about these new girls for us is that their feet have done so well, which I was a little concerned about because we are so wet here, but good breeding. We know who bred these girls. What lines these girls came from, and good breeding helps. Makes a big difference. You don't want to breed every animal that comes onto a farm for that reason. So this is really gorgeous. If you're listening to this in the audio, this is a fun one to pop over to YouTube and watch. Or you can watch on my Patreon. There's no ads on Patreon. If you're a paid subscriber on Patreon, I put the video up. It's not via YouTube. So if you're trying to avoid YouTube, you can safely watch it there. And there's no commercials. It's just, all right, here we go with a little more. Let's lay this chunk out. We have got some belly wool and we have got some more britch wool, and we'll take a peek at this, but I mean, it's really not bad. Belly wool. They just don't hold as much dirt and debris as the Shetlands do. Also, and probably a big factor in it, they are significantly higher off the ground than the Shetlands. So that certainly helps. Their bellies don't drag on the ground as much because they're a lot taller. They're much bigger sheep. The Shetlands tend to weigh in around 75 pounds, probably 75 to 100, depending on the sheep. And these girls are probably close to 200, I would guess. So they have much longer legs. They're a lot higher off the ground. And that also contributes to less VM, less mud, which is why I see no reason to cold soak this. And we're just finishing up the last little piece here. And this must be around the neck because of how I'll pull you in, and you can see a lot of times around the neck on sheep is some of the finest wool on them, but it gets really, the rain's coming, but it gets a lot of VM, tends to. This is a lot of VM for her. I'll show you here in a minute, the close-up. But otherwise, that was a pretty easy skirt. So I'm thrilled with her fleece. Cannot wait to get this into the washer. And let me take you off and you can see this neck wool for her, which is, you can see how different that looks, but it's the handle of it is incredibly soft. And there's not much VM, so we'll be able to save that too. So that's it. I think that will stop there for skirting on this episode. Hopefully that has been interesting for you all. Two very different fleeces for sure. Here I am going to pick the 4 pieces of VM out of her fleece. And she also stood while everybody was getting shorn. She didn't lay down, which her sisters did lay down. So they're a little bit more gunky than her. And this girl is super leggy. So, okay, there we are. Another skirt, another fleece skirted. I'm down 4 fleeces, 6 more to go, you all. All right, we are here at the washer in the mill, and I have got the first of the Shetland fleeces that, I'm not sure which fleece this is, honestly. I just grabbed one of them after I skirted and threw it into cold soak. So this has been cold soaked, and we're gonna see how this, I always get a little like, ugh, how are these gonna be after a full year on them? I really like the wool when it has been on them less. It just gets less weathered, less stuff in it. I honestly think I end up with about the same amount of wool. But my older crew does not, they just don't put out as much wool to warrant, you know, if I shore them at 6 to 8 months, they would not be very long. And then it is a different level of issue with processing. So we'll see. I'm hoping kind of hoping that my older crew starts to slow down a little bit with shearing, because we're just going to have to go back in. We thought maybe 4 months or so we would do the ones that we shore in November, because they were just nowhere near ready. So anyway, it is what it is. We are here, and I'm just opening up the wool as I always do. I'm kind of doing a little skirting just now that some of that dirt's out. It's a little easier to see anything else that I want to pull out, some of that dirt. But when things, when you wash white wool especially, man, does all the stuff, you're like, how could I have missed all of that VM and stuff? But this fleece isn't too bad on the VM at this point, or I did a decent job of skirting it compared to the fin fleece that I was working on, I think yesterday. I didn't film it, but I pulled it off of the drying rack and then sat, and actually before I pulled it off, I sat and opened up a lot of it so that I could get some extra VM out. And then I took it over to the picker and opened it more as it was going through, and each like pound I would stop and pull it out, pull the fiber out that had been picked, and then vacuum out the picker, because I was trying to keep, when you pick it, all the VM kind of gets opened up and loosened out. And I just didn't want it just to continue being flung on the wool that was already picked out. So anyway, slow process. We're gonna see. I'm gonna throw it on the carder, I think today, and we'll see how it cards out. I'm hopeful that the rest of it, a lot of it is tiny particulates and that they will drop out during the process. So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish opening up this fleece, get the wash going, and maybe head to the carder. And I'll see you there. And if everybody's like, why the heck do you wear such a dirty coat all the time? I wear this coat at work. It's very chilly in the mill, especially when I first get in during the winter. And this coat is dirty, basically. It's kind of just become my work coat. I do wash it, but it's pretty stained with just like lanolin and the stuff over the years. It's actually only my mill coat. That's what's so funny. I don't wear it on the farm. It's pretty much just my mill coat. And I don't wear it in public because I would look like such a very not clean person. The front of it is exceptionally embarrassing, but down here is dirty too, if you can see that. I swear I am a cleaner person than my clothes show. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up. Onward we will go. All right, my buzzer just went off, just saying it's time to push the wool down, that the water just all filled in. And so I just go through and give it a little turn, and we can see it's already looking drastically better. And this water is not too horribly dirty. So those are all good things. This is why with the white wool especially, I was like, let's get this in really quickly, and I'll pull you over so you can get a better glimpse inside there, but it looks good. Okay, we're gonna let this go. All right, we are back at the drying / washing area, and I'm getting ready to pull that Shetland out because it's the same day. And I thought I would show you this, which I accidentally brought yesterday. And I'll go in a little bit on it here. So this is our East Frisian, she's mostly BFL, East Frisian a bit cross wool that I meant to bring in the fin wool and accidentally grabbed hers, and it was already skirted, so here we are. Yeah, so that is something I am thrilled about. I most likely will keep this fleece, process it, and keep it for myself, because occasionally I just have to spoil myself, right? That only seems fair. When you work hard on something to reap those rewards occasionally. So hers is going to most likely stay. But right now I am going to, I'll show you where I'm at here. I am grabbing off that Shetland fleece from the washer. I did a second wash on it and it looked really good. I'm very happy with it. A little bit of EM, not too bad. Considering this was on them for a year and we've had a really wet season, I mean, you can already see how nice that looks. So I'm just gonna open this up onto the drying rack, which I think you can get a good picture of here, and then let it dry away. I mean, this is the same thing you would do at home. Hopefully if you're, and I'll keep picking at VM, it's just my life is to pick at VM. You know, at home, this is what I do if I'm drying stuff at home. If you can give it, you know, if you have a salad, one of those salad strainers, you can give it a good whirl in there, and that will take out a significant amount of water and it will dry a lot faster. But for me here at the mill, my machine does it. So I'm just going to lay it out, keep picking little bits of EM out. But like I said, I'm really happy with how it washed out. And I think this will go up on the carder pretty quickly because the fleece in front of it, I was thinking about blending it with something, but it's a nice fleece and the fleece in front of it was just white and looked good. Didn't have much other fibers coming out. So these will just go into the drying rack and we'll carry on with the day. All right, onward. All right, here we are with some of that Shetland on the carder, and I'm going to turn this on and we can go see how it looks coming out. I ended up not loving what came through the picker, so I stopped and changed course and hand-picked the rest of it. So here is all fiber that I've hand picked, and you can see how nice and fluffy that is, and it's carding up really well. And I was trying to ignore the fact that I should do this, and I shouldn't have. So here we are with this fiber coming out, and I'm gonna take some of this over to the wheel, but it's carding out really well. The other stuff was getting caught up. And what can happen then is the fibers will break and nip and make a mess. So I probably will use most of the rest of that for stuffing for a pillow that I'm working on. And I'll remind myself to slow down, and the wool will still get used, just for a different purpose. And the rest of the fleeces I will probably hand pick from this winter shearing. So, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of this over to the wheel and we'll spin it up, and then we'll get out of here. All right, you all, we are here at the, I'm trying to find my fiber, at the spinning wheel. And I have a little bit of this Shetland, and I will tell you that I have been very harsh on this Shetland because I'm just having one of those moods, right? It carded up okay, I should say. It is a little bit of a weak fiber, so I think it broke a little bit during carding. Now, as you can see, I'm sitting here spinning it, and it's spinning up lovely. I can even get it to spin a nice thin weight. There isn't very much of it because most of it I ran through the picker, and I shouldn't have. And it's a lesson learned, it's a mill fail, and sometimes they happen, and it will happen to you at home when you're processing too, and you just kind of have to figure out what's the best use of this wool now so it doesn't go to waste, or if it just needs to go to waste, throw it out in the garden for mulch. But I think that this wool, I just need to give myself and it some grace, because it still will make a lovely yarn. But I should have stopped picking earlier, for sure. And I'll be very cautious with the rest of the Shetland fleeces, because I now remember that they were difficult to process last year when I did this year thing, and it's why I chose not to do it with a lot of the sheep, and probably why I won't do it again. But we're here now, and the white fleeces do tend to be the roughest for whatever reason, and white animals tend to grow nails long faster. So I don't know, maybe it's just something in their genetics, but it is spinning up really nice. So there's a few little second cuts and things, but it's not bad. Most of the VM dropped out. So here we are spinning this, and it's enjoyable. Okay, let me take this off and we'll take a quick peek at what it looks like. It looks like some of the other white wool on there, but I'll take you off and we'll get closer and let you see. So there it is. And because it's a little bit shorter, it'll take a little bit more twist to it, but it is spinning up lovely. All right, you all, so here I am. Can you believe it? It's me. I'm spinning at the Lendrum and enjoying it, and I'm getting ready to go home. It's been a heck of a couple days. I've had some serious hormonal imbalance, and I turn 50 next week, so it's all part of the process, right? But some days are a little bit easier than the others, and I thought I'd share that with you too, because when I have fails at the mill on top of it, trust me, it does not go well. So it's nice just to sit here and enjoy the fact that this fiber is spinning better than I thought it was last night. And there will be a little bit of it that the Patreons will get a grab at first. It's a very little bit, but like I said, I'll be more careful, live and learn. That's what you do when you work with any sort of craft, really, right? You live and learn, even when you think you've been doing it forever. So, okay, you all, I think that's all I have got for this week. So this was a long enough one, right? Shearing, skirting, washing, all of the things. We covered the bases. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well. I have taken a smidge of a mental health break from politics for a day or two. Just to let myself recover a little bit from all the other things that I'm working through. But remember to do that for yourself and then jump back in. And I still stay connected. It's just I'm trying to not be as inundated so that it doesn't take me down a bigger rabbit hole already. So anyway, stay connected, go to those town hall meetings, support the people you need to support, write the emails to the people that need to be receiving these emails, whether they're good or bad, for sure. Good emails are never a bad thing. Supportive emails are never a bad thing for our politicians to hear too. So, okay, you all, until next time, don't forget there are so many places that you can find me, including I have a blog over at beingyouthful.com. The Youthful Patreon community is a great place to reach out and meet other great people. This weekend, I am doing a online workshop for knitting or embroidery on your knitting. So taking some of what I learned on the retreat and sharing it. So you can always become a patron over there and support what I do here, and also continue to learn. And I have got an audio podcast called Handspun. There's just a lot of ways. It's all in the show notes, so track me down. Okay, until next time, be kind to everybody around you, because we don't know what everybody's got going on, right? So try to be kind. Look at, I'm almost done with this. Stay healthy and make so many pretty things until I see you next. Okay, thank you for watching.